This is Optimus Prime. Did you miss me? I'm back, and this week we're up here in the Blue Mountains. I'm just sitting on the outskirts of Springwood. Finished off a couple of finger buns as I normally do. Last week while I was sitting at home relaxing, I was scouting out some waterfalls to do up here in the mountains, and I came across this fantastic page with this montage of pictures with all these waterfalls this person had explored. And I was looking through all of them and I thought to myself, which one am I going to do? So I started reading up on a little bit of each one, and one piqued my curiosity. Let me read it out to you here. Okay, we're going to do Wallace Falls, and this is what it writes. There is no walking tracks anywhere near these falls. This is a serious off-track trek through very thick scrub. This is not a set of falls that the masses will ever visit, or even a small number of people. It took about 90 minutes of serious scrub bashing to reach the top of the falls, and another 10 minutes or so finding a safe route down the cliff to the bottom of the falls. These falls are in the Blue Mountains National Park, but depending on where you start from, you may be traversing private property without knowing it. If you are not used to bush navigation and no tracks and self-sufficient, please do not attempt to visit these falls. Just enjoy the pictures I have provided. Now, does that sound like a challenge or what? So we're heading up to Woodford, and if you can see there on my phone, it is 3 degrees at the moment with a real feel of 1. So it's absolutely freezing. I'm going to use a system today that I've used all my life. It's the KISS system. Keep it simple, stupid. There is no way I'm going to bush bash 90 minutes in this bush. So I've done a whole bunch of research from up above, and I've found a place to enter from up here at Woodford that will join a creek that I need to follow that will take me all the way to these falls. The only problem is it has been raining this past week, and I don't know whether or not I'll be able to navigate this creek. I don't know how full it's going to be. I don't know how slippery the rocks are, whether or not I'm going to be able to walk the embankments on either side. So I'm not too sure. So we're going to head up there. We're going to try it out and see how we go. Hopefully the goal is to reach the falls, and with it being raining, they should be flowing quite well, and possibly navigate a route where people can get up there without having to go through the bush like this person did in his post. If we do reach it, just up from these falls there's another set called Dakin Falls, but we'll just do these first and see how we go. I do like to incorporate other things into these adventures just in case I can't accomplish them. So starting this walk up here at Woodford, we're going to visit the Gypsy Cave and the Gypsy Pool. So if we don't manage to make it to Wallace Falls, hopefully I'll get these other 2 things on the video and everything will be okay. So let's head up there. I don't think we're all that far away from Woodford. I think it is in between Springwood and Hazelbrook. I'm going to park on Railway Parade, I think it is, near the pedestrian bridge. So once we get up there, I'll show you exactly where I parked the car. And if I manage to finish this explore, you guys will know exactly where to start it from and how it finishes up. I'll tell you what, I had a real hard time trying to find the place to park. This was the marker, the pedestrian bridge over the railway tracks here, but it's hidden behind trees. So I came in through Park Road there and turned right, where I found another pedestrian bridge, but it wasn't the way to enter the bush. So I went all the way down Railway Parade and then ended up in Hazelbrook. I turned around, and as you can imagine, I'm coming down this road and I've missed this sign here and the pedestrian bridge, and I've gone all the way down to the Appin Way, where you can also turn left off the Great Western Highway and turn right to come up Railway Parade. So this is where you need to park. My advice would be Turn left up the Appin Way, up the Great Western Highway, and then right into Railway Parade. And as you're coming up, you have to go really slow. The houses just end here, and you've got to look out for this sign here, and you see the pedestrian bridge covered by the trees up there. Plenty of parking here on the side of the road. Let's just see what this sign says before we start our walk. Changed track conditions. Tracks are flooded, affected, landslip areas ahead. There are significant washed out areas, debris, trip and other associated hazards ahead. Slippery, uneven surfaces, supervise children at all times. Trees may fall at any time. Trip hazards, unstable edges, unstable rock and soil after rain. Looks like this track down here is not very well maintained. It was once upon a time because someone's put wooden stairs here. So we're going to go down here. We're going to find the Gypsy Cave and the Gypsy Pool, because that's what we might only record today if we can't make it to Wallace Falls. And after that, we're going to follow Wilson's Glen Creek. And if we manage to get down this creek, it will intersect with another creek called Bedford Creek. And that's exactly, right on the point there, is exactly where Wallace Falls is going to be. I'm just going to kit up, because you never know, I might be stuck there overnight. And we'll start this walk. So, tricky to begin with. So like I said, turn left into the Appin Way, right onto Railway Parade. Just park here and keep a lookout for the pedestrian bridge. Okay, we are off. I've parked my car here on Railway Parade on this lonely stretch of road. And we are about to head into where they say caution. Whether or not we're going to be able to pull this off, I have no idea. But it's going to be fun trying. The things in my favour are, it is not raining, so it shouldn't be all that slippery. The things that are not in my favour is these tracks might be a little bit hard to navigate, and the creek might be a little bit swollen from the week's worth of rain that we've had. So we just don't know. I wouldn't think too many people would do this walk. I never knew there was any waterfalls up here at Woodford. I researched plenty of times when I used to explore with Jules for waterfalls up here, and I didn't find one, so it was just sheer luck that I stumbled on that site with that beautiful montage of all these waterfalls. So if anyone's interested in getting that, just let me know and I'll send you the link. See, we've got some stone steps here. Probably still is a popular track down to the Gypsy Cave and Pool, but I wouldn't think too many people would go up the creek, Wilson Glen Creek, to Wallace Falls. And the real interesting part is, I got onto YouTube through the week to see if anyone had uploaded anything of Wallace Falls, and there is nothing. The only Wallace Falls that comes up is from the United States. So there is a chance that this could very well be the first upload on YouTube of Wallace Falls, if we can make it. It doesn't take long before you're pretty much in the bush. It's nice and quiet already. I forgot to mention where I parked the car up the top there. I had a look at the compass before I started heading down the trail, and we are starting from northeast and heading southwest. So if I do get lost, I've just got to be mindful that I've got to head back towards northeast. At the moment we're heading southwest, but I'm pretty sure we're going to end up over towards suburbia. See, you can see some houses there on the mountain, and they did mention that some of the tracks actually go through private property. We shouldn't have to enter any private property today. If we're going to go up the creek, I wouldn't think that we're going to see any houses whatsoever. Although when I did look at the satellite images, some of these houses where we end up towards the west there, back onto Wallace and Dakin Falls. So if you jump down into the bush from your backyard, if you lived in one of those houses, no doubt you could probably get down to the falls rather easy. But unfortunately, we can't go on private property. So we'll just have to do it the way I love doing it, which is going up and down creeks. Hopefully we'll find some nice rainforest area. I just don't know what the drops are like. We may get to a point in one of these creeks here, Wilson's Glen Creek, where the drop's so steep I can't get down. So we'll go as far as we can, and if it gets too dangerous, we'll just turn around. We're just coming down these stairs here. We've got the first little tricky bit. You've got a track heading off to the right. Where that goes, I have no idea. We're just going to keep on heading down. I didn't see anywhere where I needed to turn off, and you would think if the Gypsy cave and pool are down there, you would think there would be a sign here. But we need to find the creek, and my experience tells me if we are to find this creek, we've got to get to the bottom of this valley. So we'll just keep on going down. It is rather steep, and little bits here are rather tricky, so if you do come and do this explore, be mindful. There is little bits like that where the rain has probably washed away a few rocks there. That will be a little hard, but if you take your time, you'll be okay. Tell you what, it's not all that cold. I don't know if it's because I've rugged up, but I'm not really feeling it today. My feet feel a little bit chilly, but I have got the Oreo vanilla malt boomerangs, and these will keep my feet warm all day. If you remember, I had them on, I think, when I did the infinity pool, and they did not skip a beat that day. So I thought, why not bring these guys along with me again? Look how steep and rainforesty it looks down there. We're going now down into the abyss. I can't hear any water just yet, but I would say we're not all that far away. Beautiful. There's some water down there. This could be Wilson's Glen Creek. We do have to cross it, and then we'll meet up with it again. So far it looks like we are on the right path. There'll probably be some stone steps down here over the creek, I'd say. Or maybe a bridge. We've got a picnic table down here. Now what this tells me, guys, that the creek should be no problem to navigate today. There is hardly any water. The track looks like it goes through there. There's probably this bridge has been washed away. There probably was a bridge here once upon a time. I can't say for sure. There's a few things here. Yep, maybe that's the remnants of it, if it did get torn down through some flooding. But my guess, there's a cave there. Maybe that's the Gypsy cave. I didn't even see that. Lucky I looked, huh? Let me get the X80 out and have a look. I just noticed a sign over here before we explore that cave up there. I don't think it's the Gypsy cave, but it does say this is a bush regen area. Welcome to a bush care site. This land is being rehabilitated by a local volunteer group assisted by Blue Mountains City Council. We would welcome your help. So if you're up here in the mountains and you didn't know and you want to come down to this beautiful little area, come and give the chaps and the gals a hand. Let's see what this little cave's all about. Oh yeah, there's something in there. There's graffiti all over there, so I would say this is probably the Gypsy cave. Got a fireplace here, a fire pit. I wouldn't be burning any fires there in summer. All this will go up. Nice little rock overhang here to keep you dry. So maybe it's just named by the locals, otherwise you would think it would have a sign here, but plenty of graffiti of kids bored down here at night time, no doubt. Just remember that if you're coming down the stairs here and you're just going to be focusing on the sound of the creek, just turn to your right and you've got the cave here. Just finished taking some pictures up there in that cave. You notice this creek comes down from the houses up above there. And this creek, Wilson's Glen Creek, is the one that we need to follow all the way to where it intersects with Bedford Creek. And right on the point will be Wallace Falls. Notice down here a tree that's come down right across. This may have been the way to cross once upon a time before this bridge was here. It looks like an old one. So we're going to continue along this track. We can't steer away too far from this creek. This creek is very important to us. We have to keep this on the left of us all the way until we get to our destination. A little bit further on from the damaged bridge. You've got Fern Gully all the way up on either side. The track up here is pretty good, nice and wide. A few sticks on the ground, but very easy to navigate. So it's a little bit of an effort if you're not that experienced to come down from Railway Parade. If you can manage to cross the creek there, once you come on the other side, everything looks sweet for the time being. Look how beautiful it looks down through there. That definitely needs a picture. Come up to another sign here. It says Wilson Glen. But walkers either way. So this track continues this way. Where it goes, I have no idea. The creek is down here, so we're going to go along the creek. I do know we're going to come to an area that's called Nick's Crossing. Now this is what today's all about, making a few mistakes. This may be the right way to go, it may not be. If it's not, I'll come back up these stairs and turn left, but I'm going to go with the creek. The creek is just over in there. As I said, that needs to stay on the left of us all the way down. Oh, now we're going on the opposite side of the creek. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit tricky now. Look how thin it is through there. If the creek's that thin, once I get past Nick's Crossing, you may not even be able to walk down it. I'm going to keep on going this way. Let's see how we go. This may take us back up to suburbia. I'm not too sure, but the creek is just on my right here. There's a tree that's been disintegrated. It's like it's been hit by lightning. We'll keep on going and see what happens. So I'm thinking where we crossed the creek down there, and I saw those signs that says Wilson's Glen. I think that's Nick's Crossroads, because we are heading right up now. We are going completely away from the creek. So I think I'm going to go back down that way, because my goal was to stick with this creek. I'm going to keep on heading along that path I was, and that should come to an end, and then we need to drop down into the creek. But on the map, when you're looking at these things, they seem so far away, but when you're walking, they come up very quickly. So I would say that was Gypsy's cave. Gypsy's pool, or Gypsy pool, might be up the creek a little bit back where that cave was. We'll scout it out once we come home. Then again, we may come to it on that track over there, but this one here, just by gut, doesn't feel right to me. Never on that map did I see that we need to head away from the creek. So unlike other explores, when we've had to follow the power lines, there is no power lines today, my friends. Shit, I thought I could hear voices, but it's a dog barking in the distance in someone's backyard. I'd be very surprised if I seen anyone down here today. As I said, they've got a caution sign up there, and it's a Friday, which means people are working. So Wilson's Glen Might be a suburb, I don't know. Or a street name or something. But on the map it says Nick's Crossroads. Whether or not that's here, I don't know. I'm just going to continue along this one. And it makes sense because the creek is just on my left. Okay, we've got a track heading up to the right. Now I can see what they meant back up on that sign. There's no really clear marked tracks telling you where to go. Again, I've seen on the map at home that one of these ones off to the right leads you to a lookout up to suburbia. It's called Chaquita, Mamacita Chaquita Lookout. That could be up there. I'm just going to continue heading here. This should come to an end, and then we just have to drop down into the creek. If we manage to pull this off today, once I come back this way, and if I've got any energy left, if it hasn't taken its toll on me, I'll head up that track there and we'll see what Chaquita Lookout is all about. Got a few footsteps here, a few footprints. I can hear the creek just to the left of me. First sign that my research online has come to fruition. As I said to you guys, that this track would come to an end and it would go straight into bush. And there is nowhere else to go. See how far down we are from the mountain. The mountain is all the way up there. So from here, it looks like it's the creek all the way down. I just have to be mindful that unlike Gordon Creek to the top of Gordon Falls and Lurik Creek to the infinity pool, oh, you've got a nice drop here. There's like a swimming hole here. They were short distances and I could put my feet in the water and not worry too much about the cold. But there's a sign down there. Okay, so we need to get down here. A nice little pool. Maybe this is the Gypsy pool. Maybe the Gypsy cave was back up there and this is the Gypsy pool. So I've got to be mindful not to put my feet in the water too much, although there is sand here and the sun's out, so I don't really have much of an issue. It's not that cold. I'm not feeling the cold at all. I'll get a picture from up here and then I might head into the bush up there and work my way down to where the sand is there. And then we're going to go all the way down there. Just up from the little pool here, you've got a track here, but I would suggest to take this one straight off the main track. So maybe if you come down there, head down to the top of the pool, get a few snaps, and this should lead us down to a sandy embankment where that sign was. I gather a lot of people picnic down here and swim down here. And a slippery rock here. Let's see how strong this tree is. Okay, you can use this tree to boost yourself down. And there it is. Is this the Gypsy pool? I've got no idea. This could very well be it. Up the Wilson's Glen Creek up there, that may have been Gypsy's cave. And this could be Gypsy's pool. A little bit of water flowing, which gives me confidence that Wallace Falls might have some water trickling off it. Let's see what this sign says over here, eh? This is a special place. Please respect it by taking rubbish with you. Leaving trees and plants untouched for all to enjoy. Friends of the Gypsy Pool. There you go, boys and girls. This is the Gypsy Pool. So no signs along the track up there, but if you do your research well, then you'll always get to where you need to go. I'm going to get a few pictures from here, and I now know 100% if we follow this creek all the way down, we're going to get to Wallace Falls. I'm kind of getting the feeling that people have been up to Wallace Falls because you've got goat tracks beside the creek here, so I haven't even had to drop into it yet. You've got well-worn tracks here. It may come to a point where there's a big drop and no one else goes any further. You see the debris that there is, all these branches, and there is in the creek here. We may get to a point down here where it's just full of those and the drop's so big we can't pass anymore, but I can see a well-worn track through here. But I didn't find anything online apart from that one site, pictures of Wallace Falls, or any videos, unless people don't know the name of it. Alright, so this, it still goes up through there. See how big the torrent of water was, huh? Look at it. The reeds here smashed. So it was on either embankment here. It just winds its way down through there. Okay, see, that's where my balance came into effect, but it's like quicksand there. I went straight down. What about here? Oh yeah. Okay, so this is like quicksand all the way through here. So it's very soft underfoot. Again, something you should never do. Always test the footing underneath you. My only worry there was not getting the camera wet. Let me see here. Okay, just got to wash my feet. I've got sand all over them. I might head back up here again and stick on the embankment until I no longer can. There's a lot of debris that's been washed down. I'm starting to think that this person that made it to Wallace Falls had no idea that there was an easier way. They just decided to go and do a bush bash, maybe from a bush track from up there at Suburbia, and stumbled upon it. Maybe he named it Wallace Falls, who knows? Yeah, this now looks like it's all trampled because of the flood that's come through here. It doesn't look like it's made by a human. It doesn't look like to be any footprints here. I can see animal prints. You can see there. One there and one there. I don't know what that is. It's whatever it is, it's rather small. That looks like a little bit bigger one with a hoof. That looks massive. Could be the Black Panther. Could be the Predator. We've got a, got a VB can here that's been washed down. Looks like we're going to have to jump down into the creek now. How do I check my footing? Actually, let's go up here a little bit. Yeah, it's come roaring through here. The old creek has got up this high. If we can get squeezed through here. Yeah, I dare say no one's come through here. I can't see any broken branches or anything like that. Now there's a broken one, which means if someone knows what they're talking about, you'll see that someone's come through the bush there. You see down there, not one footprint or anything. Not that I can see anyway. This may well be the last little sandy beach that we find along this creek. I now have rock underfoot and it's not slippery at all. God, if it was like this all the way down, how cruisy would this be? This is one of the most easiest and beautiful creeks I've ever had the pleasure of walking down. See how it tightens up here? I may have to jump up here again. It's just going to be a matter of up and down for the moment, and then it opens up again down here. Again, beautiful rock underneath me, no soft soil or anything like that. And the water is beautiful. Mate, when I left the northern beaches this morning, it was raining. It wasn't cold, but it was miserable. And when I seen the temperatures up here at Woodford saying 3 and real feel 1, I was a little bit hesitant to come up. But you never know until you go what the weather's going to be like from suburb to suburb. I made it to Rose Hill Gardens there where the racecourse is, close to James Roos, and the sun was out. And I knew then, I could see up to the mountains, I knew then I was okay. Can I squeeze through here, fellas? I don't want to damage you. I just hope this creek is not all that cold, because my feet are cold as it is, they're numb. I may be harming myself by keeping my feet in here too long. I'll just jump up again here. Dry them off for a second. A little bit more sand here. So remember, we've got to look out for a creek that feeds in from the left. And then as soon as we get to that, Wilson's Glen Creek will curl around to the right. That's another marker. That's another time we'll know we're going the right way. See a vine here. If I didn't step through it, I would have gone into the creek. I hope I get to it, because that way this will be able to show people a nice, easy route down to Wallace Falls that people can enjoy. Instead of having to bush bash 90 minutes through the bush. So now we start dropping down. See how low the creek goes down there? We are deep in the valley. Not really a gorge. I can't see mountains on either side of us. I'll just see if this rock here is slippery. Yeah, she is. This one with the black on it. It's a little bit slippery. Let's head up here. This is where we're going to have to start jumping down, you know. This is what I knew we were going to have to face. It's not going to be flat all the way. You can get down through here. There's a lot of jagged rocks that give you good stable footing. What I did is just I got onto this bit here, put my right hand here and step down onto here with my left foot. I'm rather tall, or you could come to this side and step down onto this little rock here. And again here, looks like to be like a little bit of a cave there. You could probably jump down onto that rock there. I don't know how slippery it's going to be. All right, so that's a nice dry rock. So here's a nice little small waterfall, cascading. This is what I'm hoping to find all the way down this creek, little things like this. If you're thinking about coming down and doing this, if you do it like I am after the rain, just be mindful you will be sinking down into soft sand. You need to hold on to something. I went down to my shins, close to my knee over here. So you've got to be very mindful. Don't just think that the sand underfoot is hard. If you come down in summer, I'm sure this will all harden up there. You wouldn't have that problem. But at the moment, I have that problem. So I'm very mindful to grab a rock or a tree branch before I step onto anything. See, even here I'm sinking. So just be careful. You've got a cave just up here, a nice overhang, sorry. Just wondering if there's any markings up there. That'll give me a good idea. Should I try to go up there now? Because I might miss it on the way back. Let me see if I can get up without sinking in the sand. Let me get up there and have a look and see if anyone's marked it. There's no signs of people being here. There's yellow on the rock, but it just could be oxidation from the soil up there. I don't know. But I can't see anything left from white man or Aboriginal here, apart from that yellow. See, it looks like it's drawn on there, like sprayed on, but I don't know if that's just to mark loose rock or... But there's no handprints done in ochre like we saw up there at Patonga Creek. See, the rocks are falling away here. It'll be interesting to see once we get to the waterfall. That person said it took them 10 minutes to find a way down, so they must have got to the waterfall up nice and high. So I'll be interested to see if I can find a path that leads to the top of the waterfall, because I'd like to get pictures from the top and the bottom if possible. Anyway, back down into the creek and let's keep on going. There are places up creek where you will have to jump back up onto the embankment, but you come across not too far ahead of all that some really grippy rock platforms where you can jump back down into the creek. So relatively it's really easy so far. I haven't found any problems whatsoever. There's always space to jump up. see down here, it drops down a huge way. So this is where we may fall into some problem. Let me just walk to the edge here. It looks like to be some sort of waterfall here. Whoa, that's a big drop. Okay, this might be the reason why no one comes via this creek. That is a huge drop on either end. There's a little bit of rubbish there. If I don't get down from here, I don't think I can get down up that way or down that way. It's going to have to be from here. This is where it may stop for a lot of people. Okay, I think I can get down over this way here. There's enough trees that I can grip that I can get down through here. So once you get to the top of these falls, and hopefully this is the one and only, you could try going along that way, but you see how far the drop is, yeah? So let me see how I go through here, and fingers crossed the next time I'm filming is up onto these falls. There's a number of ways that you can come down. I came down straight there. I managed to grab the big branch there, and because I'm tall I put my feet down. That's probably a safest bet. Hug the cliff there, and it looks like there's stairs coming down. It's not all that slippery, and from here you just work your way over to this one. Let's see if we can do this with the camera on. We'll get a little bit wet, I think, which is not good for the camera, but it's going to have to be done. Let me turn the camera off. Just remember, we're going to have to climb back up here at the end of the day. So as I said, right hand corner, make your way down, skirt across here, and you've got a couple of steps here. Now coming up these will be nice and easy. Going down is going to be a little bit tricky, and once down here we're pretty much flattened out. So it's not a very hard one to get down. If it was pouring with water, then it might be hard to get around that little bit there, but not too bad. We'll get down the bottom there and we'll film up. We're in a gorge now. The beauty about these falls here is once I get back up to here, I know once I climb this, I'm on the home stretch. There was nothing hard back up that way. I don't know if there's going to be anything further there, but when you think about it, we have bottomed out. So I doubt we're going to get any lower. So you see the massive drop that we've gone from up there to here. So from here on in, we might be okay. We have not bottomed out yet. We came down the first little waterfall, but we have another massive drop down here. The bottom is down there. Whether or not I can get off this one's another story. It doesn't look from here to be anywhere I can go. And I can't go up in the bush either. I'm going to head down on there and see. This may be the end of the journey. This was my fear, having something like this, a cliff overhang, where there's no rocks to get down. Where I'm standing at the moment, there is nowhere. I'm going to try up through there, but again, you see how far along the cliff overhang goes. For me to be able to jump down, I've got to go a long way in the bush before I can jump down. And I'm either going to have to head back up there, but there's no jumping down, absolutely no jumping down from this waterfall. That's the bottom there for sure. Wish me luck, because this is going to take some time trying to find a way down here. From the top of the waterfall there, I came through the right hand side. I am right on the edge. If I slip here, I'm down. See what's the drop like down here? There seems to be a path down there, but getting there, look here. I'm going to have to navigate this thing here. I'm not going to risk it. Not this side anyway. This side is a no. It's too slippery and I don't even know if that comes out anywhere. So I'm going to make my way back carefully through here and I'm going to see if I can get on top of that cliff and bush bash a little bit and come down over there. I can see some leaf litter down over on that side, but this side is a bit too risky. I don't know if this is a track that people have come along. You see how far down I am? Far too risky. No one will find me here if I fall down. I've got to get along that rock shelf there. See, this rock shelf goes a little bit further there and a little bit further there. I've got to get on top of it and walk safely and then come down the mountain that way. Okay, I managed to get back up to the falls I was able to get down, and then I hugged the cliff face on my left hand side and I came up along the cliff here. Seems to be a small little track. People have definitely come up here because I can see obvious signs of a fire here. So someone here a long time ago has made themselves a fire under this rock overhang. I am hoping if I follow this a little bit further, it may flatten out enough where there's not so much of a drop down and I can get down to the base of the creek. This is a good sign, this being here. So we'll just follow this little goat track. There's one here and one here. I'm going to go the one closest to the rock. I don't want to go too close to the edge there because I'm a bit far away from suburbia. And until I know for sure I can go the way, I don't want to take any risks. This big ass mountain just keeps on going and going and going. You see how far down the creek is. There is nowhere, absolutely nowhere to head down. See the cliff face there? It's not giving me any type of rock structure where I'm standing here at the moment. See, if I can get down to that little bit there, I can get down to the creek, but getting to that little bit is hard. I've got to be mindful. If I get down, I've got to be able to get back up again. How far? See, it keeps on climbing. And the other side is no better. That's probably why no one has attacked this from the creek before. Unless you've got some abseiling equipment from that waterfall back there. I can still hear it in the distance. But I don't know how much further I want to keep on walking.
That's just been a serious bush bash through there. So either way, I'm doing the same thing that person did, like bush bashing through the through all the scrub. They probably did do some research to see if you could get down the creek and found out that you couldn't. And that's why they entered the way they did. So, all right, I'll try a bit more here and see how we go. Man, it's not through lack of trying. Can you see the cliffside on the other side there? Have a look how sheer it is. I'm under a rock overhang here. What looks to be like a little cave. Animal prints, but no shoe prints. I'm thinking that's where it starts to turn right to head towards Wallace Falls, but I still can't find a way down. There's definitely animal prints here going along the top here. I just can't find any type of safe passage back down to the creek. I've got to be so careful. I've been bush bashing for about half an hour. I'm going to try to make it back to that waterfall, and it's slowly losing sound. There's just nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. See, there are little bits. See, it looks like there's a bit there. If I can get down onto that leaf litter, I'm okay, but there's just nowhere to grab onto. If there was a few more of these rocks down there, I'd be able to do it from here. Just freaking nowhere. I'm just hoping that if I keep on going around the mountain, but you see how sheer it is. See, here's a massive drop where I'm standing at the moment. I won't be able to get down here, but here, what's under those ferns there? I'm going to have a look. I might be close to houses. I can see a house up on top of the ridge there. There's either been a controlled burn here, which is making things easy of walking through the bush, or maybe a spot fire and they've doused it over the top with a helicopter. But all this area here has been burnt. Again, I'm now on the edge of the cliff. You can see how high that other cliff is on the other side here. Just now got to be careful not to get charcoal on me from all this burnt stuff. That's it, I'm tapping out from on this end. There's just too much backburn here, and if I keep on heading up, I think I'm going to get lost. I don't know where that's going to end up. I'm heading away from the right hand turn that I needed to take that way. So I'm going to go back down. I'm going to follow this cliff line back around to that waterfall. I'll just have a quick look along this ridge line again if there's any way down, but no, you got to know when to tap out. And from here, this far up, it's just inaccessible to get all the way down there. So we've just got to make sure that I get the right track back home, and I think I was down there, because if I follow this charred area, it might take me up to some houses or something. So I'll head back down there and go the same way I came and give you an update when I reach the falls again. So I'm back to the top of the falls here. You guys might have noticed before, but I wasn't paying attention. I probably had my glasses on. We've got a whole bunch of ropes here. Not very thick, but people have tried to get down. There's no way no one that I would hold onto these to get down. They've put a couple of knots on there. I don't think there's anything under there to get my footing on. But you do have some rope, so people have come this far, and this is the only obstacle. If you can get down from here, then you're home and hosed. Maybe they've put that tree up against the waterfall there, but I can't see, you know, my problem is getting back up again. I don't think I have the ab strength, the core strength to pull myself back up. Getting down, no problem. How do I get that help back up here to get home? So that's it from here at Glen Wilson Creek, or Wilson Glen Creek. I've made it down to the final waterfall, and I've come to a complete stop. Made it safely back on top of the falls that you can climb. I just don't want to leave. To me, it's been a fail. I might have to put this video on the back burner and combine another one from a different way so I can say it was a success. That's what I'll probably do. It's no use uploading this just for the Gypsy pool and the Gypsy cave. I'll go back and do some more map research and see if I can attack it from a different creek system. Maybe I did see some of these creeks start at the end of cul-de-sacs just up here in suburban Woodford. We'll head back up to the Gypsy pool and do a bit of videoing there before we head home past the cave. Just reached the Gypsy pool, so once I hop back onto the wide open track, it's a nice easy walk back to the car. When I do come back this year and finish Wallace Falls, I'm going to actually walk up that creek so I can get to the base of those falls that I couldn't get down and see what they look like from at the bottom. I'm just going to have to go home and find a different way to enter the bush where the cliff line is not so high. See, here it's not bad. There's virtually nothing there. But down there, wow, it's a big drop. So until we meet again, when I'm back up in here, hopefully in a couple of weeks' time, adios. Okay, we're back. After the failed attempt a fortnight ago, I'm up here in the mountains once again. We've got a different plan of attack. We're going to try to enter Wallace Falls from a side road. I'm just going to take this exit up here called the Appin Way, and then going to turn right onto Railway Parade, left onto Bedford, and I'm going to follow that all the way up, and that comes to an end, and then it's Murphy's Road. This is a dirt road. I'm going to walk along that dirt road and I'm see if I can find a safe path down into the valley below. Once again, I'm looking to drop into a creek, but a different one from the one I was trying 2 weeks ago. That would have been Wilson Glen Creek, just on the Great Western Freeway here. The Appin Way is between Lyndon and Hazelbrook. There's the sign there, Woodford. So it should be coming up here on our left now. It's very much an unknown today. I have no idea if I'll be able to get down into the valley below. If I can navigate that bit, I'm confident of getting to the falls. But just looking at how I went 2 weeks ago when I came to that waterfall and I just could not get down past it, we may come across something similar. As you know, there's no videos of this joint. I think this is it just here. Woodford Village. I think this is the Appin Way. Let's have a look. I can see the big bridge there. Just as I turned off, it did say the Appin Way on it. So we've got the shops to the right, and we want to turn left here. Go over the train bridge. There it is, the Appin Way. Safe. And then right onto railway. And it says up there to Bedford Road, if you can see up there. So Bedford Road is just on the left here. That'll come to an end, and that's where I'm going to find a park, and we'll start up again once I walk on the dirt road heading towards where I think I'll be able to manage to get down. Left here, up Bedford. I'll see you soon. So this is where I've parked my car, on Bedford Road in this sleepy little village called Woodford. I'm just about to head down this hill. I did drive down here, but there was not much parking. It's a beautiful day. The sun is out. Fingers crossed we can find our way today. There's been a few of these explores this year where I haven't managed to knock them off first time. I've had to come back and finish them off. So this tarred road, Bedford Road, will come to an end and we should join Murphy's. So we'll keep on walking along here, and once we get down there I'll show you guys what it looks like. So it doesn't take too long from where I parked my car up there. You can already see the dirt road down the bottom. I suppose I could have driven down here, but finding a park might be an issue. We've got one last house here on the right. I suppose I could have parked in there. It's not that much of a walk back up to the car at the end of the day. I'm just hoping I can find a path down. This guy's got a wrap-around driveway, makes it nice and easy. Enter one way, come out the other. Okay, so now we are on Murphy's Road, I believe. A couple of things I saw on the map down here. There's something called Linda Rock, and let me just get my piece of paper out. What was the other thing? It was Woodford Station to Murphy's Glen. That might be a campground, I'm not too sure. I gather there's a turn off to the right down here that takes you down to there. If there's a sign for Linda Rock, we'll go have a look, but I'm not quite sure. It'll be on the right hand side here somewhere. It's 15 degrees. It's not too cold. It's meant to warm up to around about 20. Okay, see how there's been a controlled burn here, I think. Remember 2 weeks ago when we were walking along the top of that cliff there, we had a controlled burn as well. That could well be, remember I said there could be houses just on the other side of it, that could be just up there. This controlled burn has continued along this road I'm walking. Just come to a fence here. It says, private land, please keep out. Concrete and civil, over 20 years experience. So I've got to try to head down there somewhere. I don't really want to go down where the bush is burnt here because I'll get black all over me like I did 2 weeks ago. We've got a chain down here as well. What's this all about? Private. There's a lot of private things around here. It's just a rock. I think I was behind that mountain there. See how it goes down? I think I've got to go up in there. Looks like there's been a burn over there as well. Maybe the bush did catch a light here. I'm just trying to find a path down. It's pretty thick bush. I was hoping that I didn't have to do a lot of bush bashing. See, the mountain climbs back up there. I don't think I want to go behind that mountain. I think I want to drop down into there. It looks like there's going to be some sort of creek there. If I can follow that, if I can somehow get down here and work my way down to there, you can see houses in the distance. It could be Hazelbrook. I don't know the area very well, so it's going to be a little bit of guesswork. I did not see a road, Woodford Station to Murphy's Glen. So I'm going to walk a little bit further, just in case that road is behind this mountain, because I know I have to pass that before I head down. We'll keep on walking on this road for a little bit longer because I have to head back this way anyway, so I just want to see what's up behind that mountain there. I did see one guy walking here just a little bit back there. Got a gate here that's open. Murphy's Road. No parking in gateway, emergency access. Here we go, we've got some signs up here. So maybe we've got something that says to Murphy's here. Okay, so good, I'm glad I come around that mountain. So we've got the Blue Mountains National Park, that's where Wallace falls. It's inside the Blue Mountains National Park. Blue Mountains National Park, Murphy's Glen Campground. So it was a campground, I was right. Advanced booking required for camping, book online. Alright, so I've got to pass this on the right up here. And then between that and where it curls around to the left, I've got to head down into the bush on the right. I think I'll get a picture of this though. So I started up there where the sun is, and I'm just making my way down the mountain. It's a full-on trek through not only dense bush, but it is wet. So I just want to come to something. I might come to an edge of a cliff or somewhere where I can't go anymore, but a little bit further down I can see there's a bit of a clearing, and that'll give me an idea whether or not to go any further or not. I started off at southeast up the top there, and I'm heading northwest at the moment, so if I need to find my way back, all I have to do is climb this mountain and I'll hit Murphy's Road. So I know at the top of this mountain here I'll definitely come back up onto the dirt road, so I shouldn't get lost as long as I don't head too far left or too far right. If I can't find a creek down here or something that resembles a deep gorge where a creek may run, then I'll just head back and do it some other time. This was the first day that I actually grabbed some coordinates and I typed it in on my phone, but I've got such an old phone that I've got no reception here and it was no help whatsoever. So I don't even know if I'm going down the right way. So a bit of trial and error at the moment. We'll see how we go. And once I can't go any further, I'll either turn around or I'll give you guys an update once I get down to the little bit of a clearing down there. You see how it curls around down there? I'm thinking that's a creek, but if you notice here, there's a rock platform. I'm on pine needles here, which is so slippery, especially here in the rain has been through this last week. It has been raining a hell of a lot. I was in two minds whether or not to come up this weekend, but I thought, well, I'll be guaranteed if I do get to it that the waterfall will be flowing. You see how thick the bush is up there, but I did see this bit of a clearing from up there, so I think this is some sort of animal track. You see how, unless bushwalkers have come down here, but I have not heard or read that this is the way anyone's come to do Wallace Falls. They entered it from some other way, but how that curls around there, that's where I want to get to. But I think this is a full stop here. I don't think we'll be able to navigate this this rock platform. Is there a way down? Because it looks to be a hell of a drop there. Fingers crossed, because if I can get to the bottom, I'm confident of finding my way there. I'm saturated. I'm wet as. Okay. What a beautiful view. Look at that. Well, there was no rubbish through there. And be very slippery, very careful here, it's very slippery. So here is where it drops off really quickly, see? I'm trying to hear water, but I can't hear anything. See, it looks like it just goes down through there. This climbs up here. I might head around to this way and see if there's a path down behind these rocks. Look how slippery the rocks are. So even here, you could fall straight over here. It's just one big rock platform here. It's going to be an effort climbing back up here if I do manage to get down. If I can get down into this area here, I'll be okay. Anyway, let me see what I can do. There's an idea of what it's like. So there's no getting down anywhere over that way. There may have been a fair way over, but I've gone right down on the edge here and worked my way down. Again, I'm to another rock here, but I can hear a trickle of water down there. I think it might be coming off that ledge there. I'm just going to go to the side here and see if I can work my way down little by little. As soon as I come to, you see how big of a drop this is, this might be a problem. I'm hoping these rocks stop here and then I can work my way down through the bush. But look how big that overhang is over there. There's no way knowing that you'll get down over there. I'll just keep on going here towards the right where it's nice and safe and see how I go. That is one of the stupidest things I've ever done. There's just no way of telling what's below your feet. I was just looking at where the tree stumps were and knew there had to be solid ground, but I wasn't sure how far down the strump went into the reeds and the bushes and everything else. I don't know if you can see the top of the ridge. I have come down a long way. And at the start of the day I said I'm going to find a nice easy route and I didn't want to bush bash. I am absolutely filthy. But the good thing is I have found a little creek bed. If you notice here, this should lead into a bigger creek, I'm hoping, and I'm also going to use this to navigate my way home because it's very easy to get lost. So you know that sun's not going to be up there when I come back late afternoon. So again, I'm going to follow this creek down. At any time if I think I'm going to get lost because there's no reception here and I've got no one with me, I'll just turn around. But as soon as I lose visibility of that cliff, because I know that's the way home back to Murphy's Road, as soon as I lose visibility of that, if it's no clear path, if I don't have a creek to make my way down to Wallace Falls, then I'm going to turn back. My heart is racing. Oh God, I've never done anything like this by myself. And you know, there's a lot that can go wrong down here. So the creek, it looks like I've flattened out. There was a little bit of a drop up there where I had to head in bush. I couldn't go down the creek, but now it seems to widen and snake its way around. It's a lot easier to walk at the moment. There are times where I can drop into the water and times when I have to come out because there's a lot of like vines holding you, and there are little bits and pieces where it's deep. So I'm just going to keep on following this, and if I don't think this is taking me the way I need to be going, I'll just come straight back up it again. I just put myself a marker here because once I make it back up to this spot here, there's a bit of water going that way. I've got to snake up that way. So I'll put that stick in the ground just so I know I've got to head back up towards the mountain and not up there. I'll just show you down here, if I can get down this slippery rock, how deep these little pools are. I was getting these all along here and I've had to jump up on the embankment more times than I've actually walked in the creek. Look how this is way below knee. If I stood in there, this would probably come up to my chest. So I don't know if that's coming through, but that is a rather deep little pool. One thing what I don't want it to do is piss down with rain, because this creek would have been flowing earlier on in the week. So I'm not sure if you can see that. Let me see if I can get a stick and see how deep it is. Yeah, it's about up to my waist, right at the deepest here. So I don't want to be wet. That will flood all my gear because I've got my tack belt on. So we want to be very careful where we tread. With this beautiful white gum just sitting in the creek here. Let's get past it a bit. Once again, a little bit of a deeper, should I say, not deeper. Look at that white gum down and around. Oh, it's no opening yet. I'm hoping down here it's gotten widened, but so far nothing. If you remember Wilson Glen, that was quite wide when we were walking down. This one's really narrow. I just hope that this is one of the feeder creeks that feeds into Bedford and Wilson. It's not giving it up. It's very easy. It's fighting me all the way. Just when you think it's flat all the way down, you come to something like this. And this may be the end where I have to turn around. Look at that. That's a sheer drop down to a pool. There's no way down this unless I'm going to fall down into that water there. But how do I get up? That's the problem. See, I've got to take into account I'll be able to get down holding twigs and all that. It's trees and little stumps. But how do I pull myself back up again? I'll have a look on the left and the right, see if I can make my way down through the bush, but this may be the end. That little drop's around the corner there. You can see it's quite a drop here. It looks like it peters out down here, so I'll be able to jump down here. I'll be able to pull myself back up again with that rock. And if I head down there, I should be able to get my way down. And I keep on saying it, that looks like flat ground down there, so let's just, fingers crossed, I'll take a video of the little waterfall shooting back up. I wish 2 weeks ago we were walking down Wilson Glen Creek and we reached that waterfall and we couldn't get down any further. I wish it had something like this where I could just work my way and come down the side there. So I've now re-entered the creek. And once again, this is fairly deep. They're like little wishing wells. There's no getting down or no getting up there. There is no, unless you abseil. Put a couple of ropes there. You could slide down. Risk hurting yourself, but you're not getting it back up. Alright, so I've got to remember, once I get to this point, I've got to head to the left and work my way up. There's a lot of things to remember on the way home. Make sure you guys don't fall asleep to tell me where I have to go. When I get back up to this point, the creek goes straight, yet I've come from the left, so I've got to remember this bush and this white gum. Okay, so white gum, I turn left here, that takes me to that little slippery slide waterfall. I've got to head to the left of that, and then there's another marker that I've left myself. From there I can make it. Have a look at the torrential flood, possibly this week, what it's done through here. So this would have been all, this is what I have to deal with, bush like this, but the rain, the flood has helped me. Look how easy it is here. I wish it was like this all the way. But the creek is, oh, I don't know if it's widened up a little bit. I think it's just because of the rains, the heavy rains. I'll just go down this way and I'll shoot back. There would have been, a huge torrent of water through here. All these reeds would have been up. These are all entanglement. See how deep it is here? Look at that. So this would have been like that over there. So this has made it easy for myself a little bit. The water's running a little bit quicker here. And good news is we're heading, I think, towards Woodford now. We've taken a beeline, and that mountain up there may have been, just over the top of it, may have been Wilson Glen, the creek that we were coming down. What will absolutely make my day is to see a nice wide creek from the right hand side. That's what I'm looking out for. A little fishy down in there. Okay, so look how it gets deep here, and there's cover, so I'm going to have to duck down all through here. Yeah, so if I see a nice wide creek coming from the right, my guess would be that's Wilson Glen. We've got another little waterfall we can't navigate. So we've got a nice clear little passage here to the right of it. You'll see it here on my left now. These are waterfalls no one will get to see. I highly doubt anyone would come this way. You see, I don't even know what I'm treading on here. There could be a massive hole. I've got to somehow jump down into that creek again. So here's another thing that we need to remember. Isn't that a pretty little, with all the little holes in it? Let me see if I can get down here if it's not too slippery. It's a pretty little waterfall. Look at that. Nice. I bet you haven't seen too many people. What should we name you? I wouldn't have a clue. These little rock pools. It's like a little infinity pool. From here, the water flowing's a little bit quicker. Geez, I'm hoping I'm going the right way. I just don't know. There was a guess where I entered into the bush. I didn't have my internet working, so I just guessed. I drew a little map at home and just followed Google Maps, and I drew it left and right, the bends of the Murphy's Road, and just drew a line where I need to enter the bush. If I got that right, then I'm going the right way. If not, I'm doing this all for nothing. Took a bit of a tumble down that slippery waterfall back there. Fell on my butt and wet my shorts. Just wanted to show you guys through here. We've got some cliff overhang here. The undercliff. Again, the water would have come roaring through here. It is slow going. I'm now sinking into quicksand. If you remember at Wilson's Glen, there was quicksand down that creek as well. The sand was giving way very easy. So it's a little bit more pretty around here. I've just got to be mindful if I don't come across this by a certain time, I've got to head back as well. I don't want to be making my way out of the dark. But I can't see the cliff anymore. I'm deep down into the Blue Mountains National Park now. As long as I stick with this creek, this should lead me back up to a massive cliff that I come down. Just having a look on this sandbank here, and I cannot see any footsteps. So I'm just making sure no one's come down this way before, and I can't see any animal prints. So no, not even any animals come down here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to leave my prints of my boomerangs here. I'm sure once it rains that'll go. See how soft that is? Ooh! I just hope this creek doesn't get too deep. Geez, there must have been a torrent of water that came through here. You would not want to get stuck down here with impending rain. The skies are pretty clear today, but I can only imagine the torrent of water that came through here. What the rains have done this week is made it very deep in places, and I can't really walk through without getting my shorts wet, so I've had to jump up on the embankment, which has not made it a pleasant journey down. I like walking down creeks when they're knee height or so, but not when they're above the knees and getting my shorts wet. See, I just don't know what it's like down through here. I should have maybe let it dry out for another week, but it has been 2 weeks since I've been here, so I wanted to see if I can complete it today. Bear Grylls would be proud of me. Oh God. Just remember, I've got to go home the same way too. I'll follow this a fair way down. If I do not see a creek coming from my right, because that is the Google mapping I did, I should see a creek, Wilson Glen, coming from my right. I don't know what this creek is. So if I find that, that should take me to Bedford and to the falls. Just have to wait and see. We've got a nice little overhang here. There's a lot of fog down here too. I've just got the torch on. If we don't come across that Wilson Glen Creek anytime soon, then I'll turn back, because I'm not sure if I'm going the right way. It is 11 o'clock. You see what I have to get through. It's not an easy way down. They talk about bush bashing to these falls. A different way. Well, I'm bush bashing through the creek. There you go. Have a look at that through there. I don't know if that's coming through. There's a lot of fog down here. That looks awesome, doesn't it? Hopefully it's not too deep down through there. I'm going to go a little bit further down, and if I can't find that creek coming off to the right, then I'm going to turn around. It is 11 o'clock at the moment, so let's just film down through here. How deep is it? Yeah, she still keeps on going. Right. I wouldn't be coming here again. This is not easy to get to. And like I said, I don't even know if I'm going the right way. I was going to do Dakin Falls as well, which is above it, but I don't think I'll get those in. Oh God, this is just full on the undercliff now. Alright, let me make my way through here, and if it opens up we'll keep on going. If not, we'll turn around. Just following the creek down. I am starting to see mountains again, so that's probably a good sign. It was just bush for a long while there, so it looks like we've wound around and we are heading to something. Hopefully it'll culminate into Wallace Falls. We've got another little waterfall here. Let's see how far we drop down again. We just may come to an end here. This may be just impossible. Hang on. Is this a brick? There's a brick down here. It's probably washed down. That's been sitting there for a long time. Wow. A brick all the way down here. That's a nice swimming hole, that. Whether or not I'm going to be able to get around this is another story. I'm already wanting to turn around because the trek has just been very hard. Oh, let me see if I can get down a little bit further. That's it, you got to know when to tap out, and I've reached a point where the drop's just too far. I'm up as high as I was when I reached the waterfall just below the Gypsy pool there on Wilson Glen. That's probably the quickest way to get to Wallace Falls and Dakin Falls. I've tried from Murphy's Road and it's just too inaccessible. The drop down here is huge and you can see the ridge line all the way along. There may be somewhere that I can pop on down, but I'm not going to risk it. You've got to know when to say it's over, and this is strike two. Once again, I'll go back home and see if I can come in from the other side. It looks like they may have done their research very well and know that the only way down there was to bush bash, to virtually get on top of the falls and make your way to the falls that way. Because if you come down, the two creek systems that I've come down, Wilson Glen and whatever this one is, it's just too many drops. If you're an abseiler, canyoning, this would be great, but it's the terrain is just, oh, it is. I'm so far down. If something was to happen to me here, I don't think anyone would find me. So I better just turn around. It's pushing on midday. I've only got this far and it's midday. And it doesn't look like I'm anywhere close to the falls anyway. So I'm gonna turn around. It was a good try. We got some good footage. There's a couple of waterfalls along the way, but I'll go do my my homework again and tackle it another day. There's no rush when I finish it off. It can be next year or in 5 years, but most imperative thing is keeping yourselves safe on these walks. Don't feel like you need to finish it on the day that you're doing it. Let's just say that was an effort getting back. Wow. Along with the walk to Beauchamp Falls and up the horse track at Evans Head, when my calves started playing up really bad, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. Wow. You think you're going to be able to follow the same track back, but it doesn't work like that. I've got so many scars on my shins, and I thought I'd just make a beeline for the bushfire area, so it made it a little bit easier for me to walk through. Wow. Unbelievable. All for nothing. Now, if you're thinking about doing Wallace Falls, you don't do it from Murphy's Road. Whew. Alright, that's strike two. I'm going to now go find a little reserve somewhere to wash my hat, my feet, my hands. I've got so much gunk all down my pants, down my jumper. Whew. Let's leave this for another day. And if I never do it, it wouldn't even bother me. God. Okay, that's adios from here on Murphy's Road. in Woodford. I don't even know where I entered. I think I entered up there, and I've come down a little bit further, and I'm going to head back to the car this way. Until I see you again, adios.